In this video I am going to look at a game I played last Saturday in a county match against Kent. The match was played at Kent's current home venue in Orpington. I was on board 4. I had the black pieces and was up against Alan Hanreck. I had played Alan 2 times previously, both times in county matches against Kent. In the first game I achieved a comfortable enough draw, while in the second I managed to achieve a winning position, only to let it slip and subsequently lose. My opponent started with 1c4 as he did in our first game. Then I responded with e5, knight c3, bishop b4 and managed to achieve a solid position after g3, bishop takes c3, d takes c3, d6, bishop g2, f5, when I had a good version of the reversed Rosso Limo as my f-pawn was able to advance at once. As a result, in our second game, my opponent preferred one knight f3, possibly because he was hoping to transpose back into the English opening with a subsequent c4, while preventing me playing a system with e5, as I had in the first game. However, I was ready for any tricks based on this move order, as I have played one knight f3 myself many times over the years with exactly the same idea. I replied with c5, offering a transposition to the Sicilian with e4. My opponent preferred to keep things in English opening territory with c4. After knight f6, g3, b6, bishop g2, bishop b7, castles, e6, knight c3, bishop e7, rook e1, d6, e4, a6, the game had developed into a position typical of the hedgehog system. As in our first game, my opponent got nothing out of the opening, which explains why he went back to 1c4. However, rather than e5 as in our first game, this time I went for knight f6, knight c3, g6, angling for a transposition to the King's Indian. My opponent, as I suspected he would, decided to keep things in English opening territory with g3, bishop g7, bishop g2, castles, e4. This is the Botvinnik system. It is favoured by positional players who want to outplay their opponents in a quiet middle game. Unfortunately for my opponent, I had been looking at this line that morning and had a nasty surprise prepared, which took him out of his comfort zone. d6, knight ge2, c5. I think it is better to play c5 rather than e5 against the Botvinnik system, as this keeps the long diagonal open for the bishop. d3, knight c6, castles, rook b8. Black is aiming to create counterplay with b5. h3. White prepares bishop e3 by preventing knight g4. Knight e8. Black intends knight c7, supporting b5. Bishop e3. White now seems to be threatening d4, when, if black takes, he should have a good version of the Maroczy bind. Now, knight d4 is the most common response, stopping d4, but leading to the slow game white wants. Instead, black played knight c7, inviting white to advance his d-pawn. d4. White took up the challenge. However, he was shocked when black responded with b5. He sacrifices a pawn, but gains excellent play for it. White does not have an attractive response. d takes c5, d takes c5, bishop takes c5, b takes c4, sees black regain the pawn with play down the b-file. d5 allows black to gain counterplay via the c4 square with knight a5, c takes b5, knight c4. White chose c takes b5 in the game. After knight takes b5, d takes c5, d takes c5, White had to decide whether to exchange queens. After queen takes d8, rook takes d8, bishop takes c5, knight takes c3, neither recapture is attractive. Knight takes c3, rook takes b2 sees black regain the pawn with an active position. B takes c3, bishop a6, rook fe1, rook b2 also gives black counterplay. In the game, White chose bishop takes c5 and after knight takes c3 had to decide how to recapture. Now knight takes c3 would be met with queen a5 hitting both c3 and c5. In the game, White decided on b takes c3, but after queen a5 black clearly had good play for the pawn. After bishop e3, knight e5 would be a way to play for compensation. However, black chose bishop a6 instead, giving him the chance to regain the pawn. After queen c2, bishop takes e2, queen takes e2, bishop takes c3. Although black has given up the bishop pair, his knight will prove strong on d4. Rook a b1, knight d4, queen c4, e5. Not only is black's knight strong, the white bishop on g2 is out of play. White managed to find a way to create counterplay with rook takes b8, rook takes b8, bishop h6. Black now has to be a little careful, as if he fails to keep up the pressure on white, his opponent might be able to unravel, when the bishop pair could be a factor. After a long think, black opted for queen b5. White does not want to exchange queens, as he would then be left with the worst pieces, in particular the bishop on g2. Note that queen takes c3 is not possible because of knight e2 check winning the queen. Instead, White chose queen c7, and after queen b6, queen c4, queen b5, queen c7, he offered a draw as a repetition was in prospect. Black could see no constructive way to improve his position, and he was by now starting to run short of time, so he agreed to the draw proposal. This was a somewhat anticlimactic end to the game after some interesting play. However, this was a pretty easy draw against a strong opponent, and therefore a creditable result for me.